Hughes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I wasn't going to take a call on this third reading, but since we've got the Minister here, I thought I would take the opportunity. First of all, I'd like to send my wishes out to Toh, who's a Transport and Industrial Relations Committee member. I'd like to thank the officials who have worked on this bill and all the hard work that's gone into it. I'd also like to thank Diane Fenton for the call she's made. There's other conventions we probably should be discussing, and probably more fitting to be discussing under urgency than this bill. I'm glad I'm supporting this bill, and I'm glad that the Greens are in this House to be able to raise the environmental issues. It's a pity the Minister wasn't here for my second reading speech, but I'm sure he'll eagerly look it up on Hansard to find out about the climatic and environmental impacts of our airline industry. I heard the Minister pick up on the figure that we could be saving up to $325 million. This isn't a figure to sneeze at, but I guess in the context of other wasteful spending by this government, including the Puhoi to Wellsford Holiday Highway, which has a benefit cost ratio of 0.8, meaning we won't see any extra benefit economically from this one project. So I'd like to see some more prioritising from this government on where they're spending their transport focus and their scarce transport dollars. I talked a little bit about the environmental costs, but what I'd like to touch on now is the opportunity cost of this bill. I would have preferred if we were discussing the sustainability issues around the aircraft industry, because there are things, and I addressed that in my second reading speech, that we could be doing right now to lessen the greenhouse gas emissions and the environmental impacts of aircraft industries on the planet, on the climate, and also for communities who are impacted by both noise pollution and particulate and soot pollution. I think we could have been debating the biofuels bill, which is also sitting in this House, from my colleague and predecessor Jeanette Fitzsimon. Air New Zealand has been using jatropha as a biofuel alternative to kerosene in their air fleets, and I think this is something that needs more investigation, again making sure the sustainability of the fuel on people and the planet is ensured. I would like to have been looking at our rail lines in New Zealand. For example, a Hamilton to Auckland rail link, which could help reduce the demand for air services and actually be more efficient and more cost effective and more economically sane than what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing overseas. We're seeing governments and private companies spending more focus on fast and more efficient rail links than in expanding this greenhouse gas causing aircraft industry. Once again, Mr Speaker, I'd like to lament the use of urgency. I feel it's pointless, especially in relation to this bill. It wasn't needed to be. And on a last point, I'd like to challenge the other members of this room to be like the Green Party and maybe considering offsetting their flights. It's a privilege as a member to be able to use domestic travel in New Zealand. We all know the impacts of that. One flight to the UK is more than a Swedish citizen will emit in their entire year. That's just one flight. We're spending hundreds of tonnes of carbon on our budgets, and I'd like to challenge you all to take up the land care challenge and maybe think about offsetting your own flights from your own personal budgets and pressuring the Speaker to see if the House can do it for us. Kia ora, Mr Speaker.